Nice outfit, Peter. Hello, hello. I'm amazed how many Oracle cards, Dragon ones there are. How many do you reckon there are in the world? 30, 40 sets? Does everyone want to put in the chat where they're from? So where you're all from, stick them in the comments. We know Peter's in Canada. Or if you're brave, you can just come off, unmute yourself and say it. This is open forum. You're allowed to talk.
It doesn't want me to write. Hi, I'm Maria from Germany.
Oh, welcome. Whereabouts in Germany?
From Bonn.
Bonn. All right. Well, welcome.
Close to Cologne.
Yep. I remember Bonn from my bits of geography of Europe.
There was another question, right?
Somebody asked, somebody's interested in getting a collection of all of the Dragon Oracle cards. So I just wonder if anyone has an idea how many there are. 40, 50 in the world? Peter's probably got a good idea since he sells probably most of them.
Yeah.
From his shop. Peter says he doesn't hear anything. No, obviously you can hear me.
Maybe it's due to your earphones.
Alan, can you hear me? Yeah.
Hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. So it's just you, Peter.
Yeah, that was my suggestion. Get out and on again. Yeah.
Yeah. Standard technology, isn't it? Reboot. Well, it's true. It always works.
Yeah.
Press that reboot or unplug it. Try again. Be like life, I suppose. Reboot. Try again. What time is it? We're early yet. Everyone's early. Yeah, as you arrive, put in the comments where you're coming in from, or unmute yourself and be brave and tell us where you're coming from.
Oh, I was brave. Great.
You were brave. You were the brave one. Round of applause.
Yeah.
Rob has arrived.
Because I'm always mute when I talk, right? Hi.
Hello. Oh, people are starting to reply now. We've got Rochester, New York. Sounds very masculine, doesn't it? Rochester. More USA. Hello. Yep. Kansas. Beautiful. I've never been to any of these places. I'm sure they're gorgeous. One day. I've been to New York, and then I've done California. When I was 26, did a road trip. California's beautiful. Not as gorgeous as Dartmoor, of course. Must add that. In case he gets jealous. We'll give people a few minutes to join us. This is all being recorded, so do be careful what you say. You can say whatever you like. I'm just joking.
Is Peter back again?
He's not back yet. He's probably
No.
trying to rejoin. Welcome people. As you join us, you can unmute yourself and say where you're from and say your name if you like. Just put it in the comments if you're feeling shy. You can be on camera, you can be off camera. We don't mind. It's nice to see your gorgeous faces, though. I see all these names and I think, I wonder what they look like. And I hope Peter comes back. He's had this amazing costume on.
Yeah.
It's probably a bit warm.
Well, he's camera shy. He told me.
He was on camera. He was on camera with this amazing red dragon outfit.
Right, but that's
He
not
needs
his
this
right.
outfit. He needs this outfit because he's shy. Okay.
Shy. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I should get my dragon.
Well, Alan's put his background up.
Mhm.
She's having her baby in her nose.
Oh yeah. Beautiful. What have we got?
She can help me being not so shy.
There you go. You're the only one that's speaking, and me. So you're very good. Oh, Massachusetts.
Me.
How do you say that? Muschamp.
No, Massachusetts. Yeah, Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Debbie. Oh, Debbie Muschamp. That's her name.
Yes.
I think it's a place.
So
Sorry.
she's from England. Yeah, she's. I've worked with her a little bit. Again, I haven't seen her. She wasn't on camera when she came to.
Come on, people, be brave. Put your cameras on.
No.
Come on, be brave. There you go. Be brave and open up your microphones and say where you're coming in from as well. Everyone's friendly. No one bites so far.
Are you sure, Kevin? Are you
So
sure
far.
no one bites?
So far.
No,
Are you gonna bite? Are you gonna bite?
No, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare.
You never know. If anyone bites, I'll send my dragons and bite them back.
Peter, you're back.
Is Peter back?
Yes, I just saw him and now gone.
Now he's gone.
There was someone on his shoulder.
Oh.
I just wondered.
He's probably having a few technical problems.
Off him again.
It always happens, doesn't it? Well, there's 18 of us. What I always do is give it until like 4 or 5 minutes past. So just keep telling us where you're from. Either pop on and say your name or type it.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Alan. I'm from Rochester. Just to introduce myself.
Yeah, good to hear you.
All right.
Come on, people. You can be brave. Say your name. We've got twins.
Hey, great. Have you both your phone and your computer on, Evita?
I'm only having my computer on, but I was having some connection issues, so I left the meeting and came back.
We've got a frozen image of you with a nice smile, and then the live one. That's cool. You can keep. Oh, you've gone now. You've gone. You can keep doing
Well,
it.
I should be back as well.
You should keep trying it and see if you can fill the whole screen.
Well, mine is filling up nicely.
It is. It's filling it out. People are coming in. So I always give it 4 or 5 minutes.
I was thinking you might be in some other universe, right? You're in some other parallel universe.
I think that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
Depending on which timeline you stepped into.
That's true.
That's right. That's exactly what I was thinking. You were here and then you were here.
Yeah, we're pulling them all in today. All the timelines. We're going galactic. What's after the galactic?
Works for me.
We're coming. Oh, Peter's trying to come back in again. Oh.
There he is.
Here he is. Can he hear us this time? His costume's gone. He's going to win the best costume award.
But he has a companion with him, though.
Got something. This is when you need to have it on your your television, isn't it? You know, your sort of massive 50-inch, then you can actually see what people look like. Right at the moment, they're getting smaller and smaller.
Or you just should have multiple screens in the house.
That's true. Yeah. Next time.
Who knows? But I'm curious, where's everybody from?
Yeah, come on, people. Keep putting in the comments. Where are you from? Or
It's in the comments. Yeah.
Oh, it's in the comments.
some people are putting in the comments. Some people are being even
I'm
typing
from
sharp.
Germany, and I put it into the comment as well
There you go.
as soon as I.
As soon as you came on. Ottawa, Canada, Netherlands. Where in the Netherlands?
Leiden.
Never heard of it, but thanks for telling me.
It is in the very city area, so it's in between Amsterdam, The Hague, and Utrecht. It's basically in the center of that triangle.
Beautiful. Welcome.
Comes in handy.
Mm. What we got? We're 5 past, right? We're 5 past. Well, we will start. I've been recording anyway, so it's nice to see all your beautiful faces. Those of you that are being shy, come on camera. Come on camera. Please do. And just keep putting in the comments where you're from. It's beautiful to see where you're all from. Jodie from Norfolk, Nova Scotia. Oh, I remember that from geography. Blimey. People from all over the world, which is beautiful. All right, so Dragon Talks. This is number 1. As always, the dragons tell me to do things, and I'm like, yes, sir. And so, first of all, they said, create a summit. So we did, and I'm sure quite a few of you saw the summit. And if you haven't, then all the recordings, all those beautiful speakers are available for you to watch for free. And then there was like, oh, it's a long time to the next summit. So let's get some talks going. And quite a few people said to me, it was a shame on the summit that they couldn't see people. So I thought, well, let's do this so you can all see each other. But some of you are hiding. So come on out so we can see you. Come on, we want to see those beautiful faces. Anyway, if you don't want to, you don't have to. No pressure. So they said, why not have a monthly call and make it on a Sunday, because then everyone's probably available in the week. We're all busy and doing our things, and some people are at work. And they said, why not just get a couple of speakers on? So what we're doing is going to get 2 speakers on, and each of them's, we're basically saying to them, you can have an hour, up to an hour. And if one of the Sundays only one speaker comes along and they want to talk for the 90 minutes to 2 hours, then so be it. But what we'll do is we'll definitely cut off at 2 hours because we've all got lives, and probably try and keep it to 90 minutes. This is the first one, so I'm just going to give you a little update on what the dragons have been saying to me. Talk a little bit more about the next summit in 2024, which will be here soon, definitely. I mean, it's coming around fast. We're in August already. It's going to be in July next year, the 21st, which again is the full moon, and it's called, you can call it the thunder moon. So they said do it again then. And I've got a few slides because I like a few slides, so you don't have to keep looking at me all the time. Jodie says, I'm eating. What are you eating, Jodie? Is it tasty? Alison from Scotland. Hey, Scotch the brave. Right, I'm going to share my screen. Where's my cursor gone? There it is. You've got 23 of you, so that's good to see. Can I have a thumbs up that you can see my screen? I just so I can actually see you guys. Yeah, that was a thumbs up, was it? So you just yeah, perfect. Just when I share everything. Oh, she's eating chips. Oh, I've got some roast potatoes afterwards that I've cooked. I'm looking forward to those. So let me just move that out of the way. Cool. So, Dragon Talks. That's me standing there with my amazing book full of dragon words. I'll tell you the truth, it's actually empty. It's a prop. One day it'll be full of dragon words. So, Dragon Talks. First of all, I want to say great to see you all for this first one. And this is open to anyone. I mean anyone. You don't have to be some, I've sold 30 books and I've got 15 Oracle card decks and blah, blah, blah. None of that. If you've got a dragon story and you want to share it, or the dragons come along to you and say, be brave, get on camera and get on Dragon Talks and share this, then you're more than welcome. I only put it out a week or so ago, and as you can see from this slide, there's quite a lot of people have already said me. So we've got we've got December, we're looking for our second speaker. January, we're looking for our second speaker, and then March, April, May, June, July, we don't have any speakers at all. So you've got quite a few months to get your big pants on and get brave and come and share on here. And if you want to share for 5 minutes, you don't have to use the full hour. If you send me a message and say, oh, yeah, I'd love to come on for 5 minutes, then maybe I would have a session where one day we've got 20 people doing 5 minutes or something, So this is your forum, it's not mine. It's for us to talk about dragons, for anyone to come on and share. And we've all got different ideas and thoughts about dragons, and we've all had lots of different experiences, as you saw from the 30 speakers. There's lots of people there with different ideas and different ways of working with the dragons. And I think that's one of the things the dragons are looking to do, to make sure people realize how diverse they are, and that you can't put them in a little box and say that's the way dragons are. That's not them. They're like us, multifaceted, lots of different personalities, shy ones, less shy ones, and they're from all over the globe and the galaxy. So as you can see, quite a few people coming along with some interesting sounding talks. And one of the things I want to do is ask people, what would you like the speakers to answer as well? So are there any questions? Are there any burning questions like, oh, I wish somebody would explain this? And what we can do is we can put a little list together and then share that with the speakers and say, while you're doing your talk on plasma dragons or whatever it is, could you maybe answer one of these questions? We don't want people, you just sit in, someone lectures you, you might have that burning question. So put those in the Facebook group or send me an email. I've got a slide here with my email address so you can write it down. I'll share this as well and the video be shared. But next big thing is the Dragon Thunder 2024. And what I got was 24 hours in 24. So what that basically means is we will literally be going for 24 hours. It was enough last time to do, I think it was 9 hours. And I think Barbara will confirm that sitting through every single one of those speakers was intense. I'm sure some of you, if you were there, maybe sat through the whole thing and you know how intense it was. And we didn't have many breaks. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to have 45 minutes of talking from the speaker, 15 minutes break where they might answer some questions and you get a chance to chat with them. We sort of see how that goes. But what we're doing is, because it would be too much for 2 sets of a host to host 24 hours, we split it into 3 sections. So we've got Annabelle Merriman, who's going to kick it off, and that's going to be, for me, midnight on the Sunday, but for her it's like 9:30 in the morning, and she's going to run for 8 hours and 8 speakers. When she's finished, she's going to hand over to the UK. That's going to be Nicola and myself are going to be hosting that. And I think Annabelle's going to get herself a co-host. It's always good to have a couple of people. And then we're going to run for 8 hours. And then we're going to hand the baton over to Barbara. And I think Barbara's possibly found herself a co-host as well, which is great. And then she'll run for 8 hours. So we'll have 24 speakers live, 45 minutes each, Q&A and all the rest of it. Obviously, it'll all be recorded and it'll all be available on the portal and it'll be shared over Facebook and everything. So everyone's got access to it and they'll be downloadable. whatever else people suggest. So if there's a certain format you'd like, then we'll see if we can do that as well. So that's the plan. What I'm going to do is I've got a list of about 50 speakers that have contacted me and said they're interested in speaking live or being on pre-record. So last time I think we had 11 live and we had 19 on pre-record. So this time we'll have 24 live and however many we need to do on pre-record. The fact that we'll have 6 hosts. I'm not going to do all the pre-records like I did last time. I'll be sharing that out to the other hosts, and then those will be available in the portal like the other ones, and you can watch at your own speed, and they'll be there for as long as I can afford to pay for the Kajabi platform, so hopefully forever. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So if you're brave and you want to, you could do the 24 hours, or you might just watch the little slots that suit you. And so I'm planning to sort of kick it off and then go to bed and then do a bit and then maybe sort of just do 16 hours rather than the 24. But we'll see. It depends on the energy. Last time I had enough energy to keep me going for a week. There was so much coming off of the speakers, and it was powerful. It really was. Cool. So put that in your diaries. And so I'm about to release the onboarding of the speakers page. I'll be sending that to the people that have already said I'm interested, and it will become a first come first served for the live slots, and then it'll be onto the pre-records. And if anyone here wants to record something, they're more than welcome to. And of course you've got this forum as well if you want to practice here and then go on to the bigger stage, please do. Cool. If we can get this lady live, it'd be great. She's always busy. But anyway, so what topics? That's the thing. What topics would you like them to speak about? What questions do you have that you'd like them to answer? Maybe they can answer them on this forum, or maybe they can answer them on the bigger summit. But please do put in those questions that you have. And as they always say, no question is stupid. Just because you might think it sounds a bit silly, there's probably someone else going, oh, I wish somebody would ask that question. So do ask, and you can email it to that address. It's humphrey.kevin@icloud.com, and just put in Dragon Speaker question, or stick it in the Facebook group and just put in there hashtag Dragon Speaker question or something, or tag me so that I see it. There's probably emails easier because then I can. They're there. Some Facebook, often people tag me and I get so many tags that I don't see them. So just any ideas of what you'd like someone to talk about, any searching questions, and maybe put into there, I'd like an answer sooner because it's bugging me, or actually this can wait to the forum. And I have been getting people sending me questions, and if I get a chance, I'll tap in and sit with my dragons and find out what they think the answer is. I always say, if you've got a question, the best thing to do, as always, is go on whatever way it is that you connect with your dragons and ask them, because they've got the answers. Anyone else is going to get an interpretation, but if you've got a dragon, then ask your dragon the questions. And I know what it's like. When you first ask them, it's hard to get full answers and the rest of it, but the more you do it, the clearer the answers become. It's like a muscle. It really is. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Betty's got a hand up. Did you have a question, Betty? Or did you just put your hand up and not mean to? Yep. Gone down. Okay, good. If you've got any questions, then chuck them in the... I can't actually see any of the comments at the moment while I'm sharing my screen, unfortunately. Bug.
I can tell you if I see any.
Okay. Anything in there?
Don't think so.
No.
No questions.
Okay, cool. When I stop, we can open it to questions. I love this little dragon. He's so cute, isn't it? It really is. You see why people go, oh, I want a little dragon. They can look like that. Most of mine don't. If you've never met a dragon, so I'm talking about dragon. If you've never met a dragon, then it was, what, 2 and a bit years ago that I first recorded how to meet your dragons. And if you go to www.meetyourdragons.com, it's free. You can access that course and it's there. And I think about 1,000 people have now, which is great. And every day I get beautiful, big, long emails about who they've met and what colour they are and what they did and where they went flying. I love it. So it was good. The dragons, they give it away, so I did. At the moment, I've got the Meet Your Dragon Thunder, where we're in week 4 of 7, and I gave a huge discount of £700 off to the people that came to the summit, and I got asked to do that again. So if you use the word thunders, you'll still get the £700 off of Meet Your Dragon Thunder. And obviously, if you join now, you'll only get to do the 3 lives, but everything's recorded. You have access to everything. So that's there if you want it. And then I love AI. I love and hate it. There's this art one, and I just put into it. I said, a man with glasses with a long beard. It's almost got me. I mean, it's not as handsome as me, of course, but it's close. You know, I need to grow my hair a bit more, I think, to be quite like that, and my beard a bit more. And anyway, he's got square glasses, but I love it. It's funny. So when I was sitting after the summit, I was like, okay, that's the summit done. What do we do next? And they were like, well, you've got another one coming up. But also at that point, 27 Dragons popped in. I was like, blimey, what's going on now? And they just said, we've got some runes that we want to share with you. I was like, okay. So I ended up creating, all the runes are very simple. They really are. I mean, they're fairly obvious what they are. But they also said, we want you to use AI and create some art, and we'll tell you some keywords to put in. And we ended up creating 27 runes and 27 images that I can only say are a bit psychedelic. And then I was like, well, what do these mean? Or what are we doing with these? Are we doing it a bit like oracle cards? Or like, yeah, okay, we can do that. So there's like a beautiful meaning and some wisdom. And they basically said, you look at the image, you look at the rune, you read it. But the important part is that you go and meet the dragon of the rune. And that when you meet the dragon of the rune, then that's how you really download that information. And what I'm doing at the moment is I've partnered with a friend of mine. We actually went, well, we were born really close. He was a couple of roads over. His mum was my Arcala in the Carbs, and went to school together, and then we went to college together. And our first job we worked together. I was his best man, he was my best man. Anyway, he does laser printing. He's into that at the moment, and we're going to be laser etching pieces of aluminium with the runes. So I'm just in the process of sorting that out with him. He lives not far from Brighton, the south coast, a couple hundred miles from me. So we're sorting that out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a course which will introduce people to each of the dragons of the rune, and I'll be advertising that soon. So just to let you know. And as with all these things, there's tiered. At the simplest level, you can buy the booklet, which is a PDF, and don't need to buy the runes. The next level is buy the runes. The next level is buy the course. So I've tiered it at 3 different levels, so people that aren't particularly abundant in the wallet can still take part in this. Yeah. And there's just 3 of the runes that came through, just to give you an idea. As I say, once the website's finished, or so I'll share it with everyone, and you can see them, and you can have access to all of the runes and all of the pictures. And I think I'm charging £8.88, which is about $12 for the whole PDF and the rest of it, so you can have access to it at the lowest level, and then the price goes up depending on if you want to do the course. The course will be, there's 27 of them, so I think it'll probably be a 28-week course. Just sort of finalising that now. And then there's me in my natural habitat, out in the woods, going for a walk with my hat on. Stop the rain getting to me. I think that's my autumn time. My beard was a bit smaller. And as I say, that's the email to use. There's my website, and I'm all over social media as EnglishMystic. So I'm going to stop sharing. Does anyone have any questions about any of that? Does anyone want to put their hand up and say, I want to do a 5-minute talk now? Because we've got time. Does anyone want to share anything?
First of all, Kevin, I want to thank you because this was really informative already. And I can't wait to find out more about the runes. I'm very curious, especially about the psychedelic art. Bring it.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm
Cool.
I'm happy to share how I got in touch with dragons.
Yeah, please do.
Because I'm curious about other people's stories about how they met one or multiple of their dragons as well. So I'll just kick it off.
Yeah.
Last year in November, I had a very interesting week. I do yoga on Mondays and on Friday, and at yoga, we at the end always have a Shavasana 10-minute meditation kind of thing. I never listen to the teacher, I always do my own thing. And what I always do is I check in with my chakras. And on the Friday morning, I was doing that again, checking in with my chakras, and I got to orange, sacral, and out of nowhere, an orange dragon just popped out of my belly. It really sprang out forth, and soon after that, I got 8 other ones, all connected to my chakras. And I was like, what are we getting now? What the heck is happening here? I've read fantasy books, of course, but this was so clearly different. And the orange dragon was really fierce and coming out. So I just told him to get back in there because I was not going to have this during my yoga class where I'm in a room with 10 other people. No. So it was really funny, really funny. And after that, I was like, what is happening here? I have 9 dragons all of a sudden, and they're not going away either. And to top it off, I'm from Europe, so I'm used to Western-looking dragons. When you read the stories or watch films, I have 9 Asian ones. I was completely stunned. Completely stunned. But they're here to stay, and I'm having loads of fun with them. Loads of fun with them.
Wow. Gorgeous.
Yeah. I know. They're incredible. And on top of that, I have 2 other ones that I've met as well that are also linked to me. And for me, because my 9 original ones are linked to my chakra points, so from my Earth star to my Soul star, for me, color does have a meaning when it comes to dragons as well. I've read online and of course already heard that not everybody is on the same page of that. Some say color doesn't mean anything. For me, it does. And my other one is golden. It's I have a nice mix. I like them a lot. So I'm curious to hear about anyone else's. Because I started in November and this is the information I basically have. So I don't have a lot of experience yet with the dragons. And I'm also still coming into my gifts. So it's not always clear what is coming through, but mostly visual. When it comes to my dragons, it's mostly visual.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the fact that they're of a different look as well. Because I think most people, when they show me their dragons, that they are the typical, like you say, European ones.
Yeah.
Rather than the Chinese or Japanese or whatever. It's interesting that yours are looking oriental.
But that's the funny part. The 9 ones that are linked to my chakras, they are, I've always referred to them as Asian because for me, it's like Western or Asian.
Yeah.
But the other ones that I have, they are Western looking. So it's a nice mix, but interesting.
So Caroline Mitchell has done dragon chakras. She did I took her workshop on dragon chakras. So you might find that interesting if you look up Caroline Mitchell. She's the one that did Dragon's Path.
Yeah.
She's not, so you have to take her class, but it's fascinating. And I agree with you. Color for me means a lot.
For me, it does as well.
Yes, I think dragons and color, which I'll share in a bit about what I experienced recently. And it was all about color. So you're spot on.
Cool. Thanks for the tip.
Jennifer, got a hand up?
Yes, I just wanted to share as well because I have a little bit of a similar experience as with regards to meeting all my dragons. The first time I did with that full, beautiful, very unique kind of scaling where there was a mix of feathers and scaling, beautiful amethyst color, which is actually my birthstone. And later on, I found out I had a pink dragon as well. And my third dragon is a golden Asian serpentine dragon, who that particular dragon came around when I really needed a lot of protection in the dream state because I was kind of being accosted when I'd come back from astral travel. And if I was having a really tough time, any of my dragons would take me off to dream. I'd say, take me to Dragonland. I just want to sleep because I feel safe with you guys, right? And there's two ancient dragons that are land-based around here. We have one at Hogsback Falls, who's underneath, way underneath the medicine wheel that is protected by the Algonquin warriors, the ancestors that were there. Who are there in spirit still. And there's another one who's from White Lake that I met more recently last year. And it was so cool. We went in the lake and it was this beautiful white serpentine Asian dragon that it came around and he swam around my legs and he actually went right up inside me. And it was very cool. I felt very safe. Thought it was a unique experience. I found out later on, he's there to manage my inner universe and to sort of look over me. And the other ancient one sort of watches over me, kind of like an uncle, you know, like who, if I'm having a hard time, will say, relax, go to sleep, everything's okay, you're going to be fine, you know, things like this. And so it's so nice to have them around. And I also do with Dragon Reiki. So the colors mean a lot to me. And I work with multiple dragons because it's whichever ones step forward that are most appropriate for the client. So that's a bit my experience. But I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone else has to share because I want to do more. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm hearing more and more about this Dragon Reiki. I think it's something I need to look into. I mean, I use the dragons a lot in my shamanic healings. They're obviously so powerful.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've actually, Alan is one person that I've been in contact with, but I've actually been in contact with two different people in the USA that are doing slightly different types of Dragon Reiki. So I'm finding it fascinating as well.
Beautiful. Brenda, did you want to share? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute at the moment, Brenda.
I just met mine about 3 months ago. I lent my sister a book about 5D, and I picked her up for lunch, and she said, "You got to check in with the dragons." And I said, "Oh, what?" And she said, "My main spirit guide's this huge ash tree." And she said, "Go, meditate, journey with your tree, and you'll meet your dragons." Well, I met the first two right away. And then I met the third one when I was doing one of Carolyn Mitchell's meditations. Just a short little video. She got you to focus on the tip of your nose as you're breathing in and out. And all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, I could see this wisp of smoke. and I followed the smoke, and there was number 3 dragon. And that one I was quite sure was a female. She was a huge white female, multi-tone white female dragon. And then the 4th one, when I watched the Dragon Summit, all of a sudden one of the meditations, this red dragon was right in my face. So I started journeying with them. A couple of buddies of mine are into dragons. I'm a medium. So they said, and I complained about trying to clear stuff out of past lives. And they said, get your dragons to go with you. So I thought, oh, okay. And so I asked them if they wanted to go, and yeah, it's been pretty awesome. So it's me and my dragon posse walking around trying to resolve these problems from, through Akashic records and through past lives. It's been pretty mind-blowing. So that's my last few months with the dragons. But
sounds amazing.
I think mine are all elemental dragons. Like I have 4 dragons, and I know there's a 5th one there. He just hasn't until he revealed himself.
That's beautiful.
But that's my feeling, that they're elemental dragons, and unless more turn up and tell me differently.
I say, just ask them. So what? Yeah, I often ask the dragons, and they're like,
I should have.
Yeah, I often get the humans. They say, you humans want to put us into all these categories and and these groups, and
exactly.
Why do you want to do that? That's what I often get. It's just like your humanity. We're dragons. The rest of it, you just complicate it.
It's funny when I meditate and I call in the dragons. My cat's always right there with me. I tend to lie down. He'll lie in the pillow behind me, and he usually puts a paw or his foot on my head. And I said instead in my head to him in my mind and during the meditation, I said, you know all these guys. My cat knows all the dragons. And every time I go to meditate with him, he's right there to be part of the journey with them, which is kind of mind-blowing on its own.
Yeah. I think there's a whole different thing there about cats, isn't there? Yeah. I think we could talk about them forever. I love cats. My cat's the same. Whenever I'm meditating, she comes and sits on my lap and just sort of, yeah. And when I finish, when I disconnect from whatever I'm doing, she knows. Off she goes. I think she's just sitting there guarding me. I think she's a lion or something.
That's my story. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. It's beautiful. Anyone else? No. I'll do a countdown. Oh no! Wait! Someone put their hand up and then disappeared.
It's Alan.
Alan disappeared off my screen. Oh, he's back again. There he is.
Thanks, Kevin. I just wanted to say thank you also to Avita and Brenda for sharing their stories. I think this is such a beautiful platform, and it's really helped me step forward out of my fear. I used to be very afraid of, really diving inward and connecting with my dragons. And I know that since Dragon Thunder, it's really opened me up to just being able to really love that aspect of myself, especially as a male in the energy healing community. Sometimes it can be hard for us to step forward and speak our truths. I myself have been practicing Pendragon Reiki. That's something that Barbara had mentioned, and really been fortunate to work and connect with Kieran Morgan. He was one of the guest speakers for the Dragon Thunder Summit. And, again, I think this is such a beautiful platform. I'm so thankful to hear these stories and share this experience together, and just very thankful to be here. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to say anything? Or shall I hand over the baton to Barbara? Give you 10, 9, 8, 7, 2,
Kevin,
1.
I'm the curious type. I can ask questions all night long. To be fair, I can quite because my experience. Well, you already noticed. I'm like, where to start? But I would love to hear Barbara's story first, if you don't mind.
So and I'm not going to keep you an hour, because when Kevin asked me, I thought it was going to be a small group of us, and I'm like, oh, I'll just update you on what's happened, since Dragon Thunder. So, but I do have, to end, I have a special message for all of us with the group of dragons that have just invited me to join them. So, so I know you asked about my story. So, like a lot of you, I have not encountered dragons for an extremely long time. I had, however, encountered ascended masters for many years. And for the longest time, I used to tell people that I did automatic writing. I never called it channeling. And what changed for me was when it was brought to my attention that I was actually a channel and I was channeling. And then everything went at warp speed. What's interesting was the route that they took me on was, there was a reason behind why I made connections with ascended masters. Merlin, who's always been with me, I couldn't see it at the time, but I just went with the flow. I took a year of just seeing where it took me. And when I first encountered dragons, they were in the sky. And I recently reposted the photos that I took because I needed to prove to myself that I was seeing dragons. And it was just a regular day. I was out walking and I kept hearing, look up, look up. And when I looked up, there was probably, well, it took me a while to count them, but 6 dragons, but they were flying in and out. I mean, they were zooming around and they were doing backflips. And I was like, am I really seeing dragons? I mean, I'm like talking to myself going, dragon? Why would I see dragons? And of course, we all have a phone on us. So I took a lot of pictures so that when I came back, I could actually look and think, wow. And there was a lot of low cloud. I felt almost like I could touch them because they were going so fast. There were like trails. And when I got back, I could zoom in and I got a clear 6 faces that were dragons, which still blew me away. And of course, I asked, why am I seeing dragons? And I got nothing, not a word. And they left me a couple of days until they started talking to me. And I still wasn't sure why I was seeing dragons. And then I think I was like, anybody I could find, I was like, do you know anything about dragons? And dragons. And then they started to explain to me. So since then, I've had a conversation with many dragons. They've told me that I do have some personal dragons, but mainly I'm a connector. Actually, I have to say it so Merlin says, I am a connector. And I'm also, so I'm there to connect humans with dragons, dragons with humans, and to also find some lost dragons, which was a new bit they added just recently. And all of you that work with dragons will know that it's sort of a surprise. Like suddenly they say, oh, this is why you've been doing this. This is where you're going. So I did, so I accidentally got the name. So I'm known as the East Coast Dragon Lady. I was in a Facebook group and there was another Barbara. And somebody said, which Barbara are you? And I said, oh, I'm the East Coast Dragon Lady because I live on the East Coast, right? And everyone said, oh, I love that. That's who you are. So everybody referred to me after that as the East Coast Dragon Lady. And as I say, it's somewhat confusing with my British accent, but I do live on the East Coast of the United States. I've lived here for 32 years, almost 32 years. So that was my first encounter with them. And since then, I channel them. They sometimes give me messages, sometimes they don't. I've also been able, and I've been very fortunate to be able to connect people, sometimes with their dragons as well. Sometimes want to give us names, sometimes don't. And there's many reasons why they don't often want to share names. But when you were asking, so my latest experience was I went on a journey to Inner Earth. It was, so I went on this journey. It was a guided meditation. And when I got to Inner Earth, I literally had all I can say is this huge thunder of dragons coming at me. And they were like vibrant colors. I mean, bright yellow, bright green, bright blue. I mean, just all those vibrant colors. And they were like, there you are. Where have you been? And I was like, where have I been? And they came up to me. And this is, I think, any of us that have experienced dragons, they allowed me to hold their faces, each one of them. And that I felt this intense love. It's the only way I can describe it. It like gives me goosebumps and brings me to tears. Every single one of them looked me in the eye and gave me that. And I was like, wow. And they were like, we've got some work for you. And that was, since then they have, what they told me was that they wanted me to meet the Galactic Dragon Elders. And I'm still not sure the whole reason, but I just recently was given the names of who the Dragon Elders are. And I think the Elder Council can be different for whoever's encountering them. But this was the list of who they told me, who I'm going to be working with, is Lord Kuthami and his dragon. These are all shapeshifters as well. So like Merlin is Merlin the dragon, Saint Germain, Merlin the dragon, El Moire, Master Hilarion, who I don't know much about other than he's got connections to Atlantis, healing and wisdom, and Metatron, who I do work with, who's also King of the Angels, Knower of Secrets, and the Merkaba. So, and then all of them have, or a few of them have archangels. So Lord Kuthami has Archangel Jophiel, Saint Germain is Archangel Zedekiel, El Moire is Archangel Michael, and Master Hilarion is Raphael. So they actually gave me a message to share with you, which I will in a moment. So what I've been doing is so Dragon Thunder sort of brought me to a different place after Dragon Thunder. I mean, I think, as Kevin said, we were holding energy for 9 hours, which was really intense energy. And I knew that how I react to higher energy is often I run out of my own energy. So I took the couple of days off before, and then I took most of the following week off. And I think by Wednesday, I sort of crashed because I was like Kevin, it was like it kept us up there, very high frequency. And then I crashed. And then since then, like the energy is different. I feel like it's very high frequency, higher than I was experiencing. And I've also experienced these like parallel lives and almost like time warp where they sort of merge together. So when Evita was talking about that, I'm like, oh, I'm familiar with that. It's almost like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning and then it's 3 in the afternoon. And I'm like, where did that time go? It's just like gone. I've also, so I was, prior to Dragon Thunder, the dragons told me that there would be a lot of questions after Dragon Thunder. So they encouraged me to look at what I could do to help people. So so I'm actually now, I've done 1 dragon hour. I'm calling it dragon hour. It's actually an hour and a half. I originally thought it was to bring, like Kevin's doing, bringing people together to talk about dragons. When we first met, everybody thought it would be a good idea if we had a speaker for each of these monthly dragon hour. So because I actually said to people, I don't think I know that many people that would want to talk about dragons. Well, now I'm booked through to January. So I actually found people came to me a bit like with Dragon Thunder, like I found them. So I've got, so Alan is going to speak. So this month, I have my friend, Dr. Lisa Thompson, who is a galactic guru, as I call her. Anything galactic, she knows all about that. But also she's had fabulous experience with dragons. Alan is going to be talking about Pendragon Reiki in September. I have a friend of a friend who's going to come and talk about something around dragons. She said dragonflies, and I thought, but I mean, I've told people whatever their work is around that. I met Dina from upstate New York, and she's going to come and talk about light language and art. And then Ryan, who lives in Rhode Island. He's going to come and talk about Dragon Reiki in January. So I was amazed at how quickly that sort of happened after Dragon Thunder. And then I also was led to develop 3 classes I'm going to be offering in the late fall. So a while back, a year or so ago, I took Holy Fire Reiki, and my Reiki master actually contacted me and said, I don't know what this means, but a dragon appeared to me and said, we need to do a class on dragons. So we're calling it Dragon School. And the dragons are actually channeling that to me right now. So I've just done session 1. We're rapidly going on to session 2. It's fascinating. I mean, this is new for me to get channeled messages to run classes. Maybe not Kevin, but so I'm like, it's exciting because they've given me who the dragons are. I've just got to wait for the messages. So we're doing like 30 minutes, talk about the dragons, 30-minute guided meditation, and then 30 minutes to process that and talk about that. So because I know, having done a couple of Caroline Mitchell's, she says that you need to experience the dragons. Like, you can talk about them, but you really can't teach. You can only experience them. So having that experience to a guided meditation, I think would be fabulous. So, oh yes, and then for next year's Dragon Thunder, this was interesting. So Kevin was like, we talked about what was going to happen, and I said, oh, I need a co-host. And he said, wait a minute, let me ask the dragons. While he was asking the dragons told me who it should be, and we both got the same person. So you can't make it up. So it's actually, let me find him. It is Kelly Springer. She lives in Colorado, Loveland. I love that. She lives in Loveland, Colorado. So she's actually known as Reverend Kelly Springer. So she's going to be my co-host. We met the other day, and she's also doing some follow-up from her. She did a live, I believe, didn't she? She's actually offering, I think, a Meet Your Dragon in September, and she's going to do a guided meditation on that. And she's offering a discount. So, somebody said, I love her. Yeah, yeah. And she's very high energy. So you need that, right, to do this. So I think that was all I was going to tell you. But I mean, just literally, the energy has been so, the frequency has been so high since then that it's like you've got to just keep riding that. Oh, yes. And when somebody was saying, asking questions, I was stumped on this one. So yesterday, a friend of mine was launching her Facebook page, and I donated a dragon card reading. And she said, oh, if anybody has any questions, and I'm not kidding when somebody said, what's a dragon? And that stumped me. And I was like, a dragon, did you read about them when you were a kid? And I don't know whether, I was like, I really couldn't answer it. I was like, go to my website and read about it. So sometimes we get those questions that stump us, right? So I don't know if any of you have any questions. I will finish. It's reasonably long for a channeled message. So I don't know if any of you channel, but I find handwritten, I get different type of message than if I do it on the computer. I've had a couple of galactics that didn't want me, they wanted me to speak it, not write it, because they told me I had to learn to do that. But I find with like Merlin, and certainly with this Galactic Dragon Council, they say they talk in the old ways. So sometimes the language is Old English type. Merlin often does that, or he gets stumped on what the modern word is and then goes all around it. So so some of that is in here, but they explain that as well, that they're old and they're of the old ways, and sometimes they don't know what the word is. So so before I started this message, I pulled a dragon card, and I got the crystal yellow dragon from, I think it was from Diana Cooper's, which is opens you to higher learning and wisdom. So again, you can't make it up. That was before I started. That was the dragon that came forward. So this is from the Galactic Dragon Elders. So they say, we have been gathering here in inner earth for some considerable time. We gather for many reasons, and this time we came together as there were rumblings in the galaxies and beyond that a gathering was occurring on earth, and the humans were calling in their dragons. At first, we were feeling quizzical. Now, how do you say this in your modern language? Many are like our friend Merlin, and we chatter in ways of old. Ah, yes, we are at first skeptical. My, we have never seen such busy dragons and lots of chattering and excitement. We were sent a message from those excited dragons asking the council to bless the coming together. We were, of course, excited. This has been talked about for many, many moon cycles. At last, it happened. Now, we see you all gathering at regular times to share your experiences and how the dragon energy has touched you and made you friends of the dragons. We see you all so delighted that dragons are coming to life in your everyday thinking, dreaming, and planning. We commend your brave hearts, and we light up and smile as we see the human response. So, dear Dragon Riders, we also have our own work to do as Galactic Dragon Council. Those who have gathered here specifically to work alongside our Galactic Dragon Ambassador, the Channel Barbara, her dragons of the time spoke to her about our council. She is a connector and works with our connector, Merlin the Dragon, where magic happens. I am Lord Saint Germain, Overlord of Mount Shasta and Inner Earth. I bring the council greetings, and today I bring with you my violet flame of many dragons attached to this violet flame. The flame of healing, the flame of truth, the flame of the I am, the flame of hypocrisy, the flame of bringing peace to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. My elder council will be conversationally intrigued to work with you, beautiful energies. We have much to talk about. For now, we will bid you a farewell, not a goodbye. For our channel, your channel, will be our scribe of revealing messages long forgotten. It's time to bring these messages into the world of dragon language, dragon light, and dragon thunder. We are the Galactic Council, Dragon Council, wishing you all much love. We will speak again. Saint Germain. This is going to be deep work, a deep dive into past memories, awakening a higher frequency. These memories are on parallel lives, maybe living them at the same time and the same lineage. These are memories that many will awaken to as ascension has already started. We will take you deep into the earth, Middle Earth. We will help you remember. Not everyone gets to experience the inner earth realms. This council is offering those who are awakened to their frequency this opportunity. That have come from this lineage, a Garthian line of people are awake. Come as you remember your unique entrance to what is your world. We will meet you in your dream state, in your meditation, in your everyday earth days. We will speak to you, your channel. She will scribe for us words and language of the earth people. You are prepared. We wait your next visit. We are always at your service. So that was the channeled message from the Galactic Elders, which I find fascinating. So that they did not want me to share this with anybody else until I shared it with you, because they said I can share it afterwards, but not before. So I think that gives you a taste of the galactic and the dragons there. So, oh, somebody said this gives me chills. Yes, it does. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hear something funny, Barbara?
Yes.
The last full moon that was on Tuesday here in the Netherlands, I pulled cards from Kyle Gray's.
Oh, yes, I love his. Yes.
Yeah, I have multiple of him. Let me get the right
Yes.
one. Gateway of Activation, Gateway of Light Activation.
Yes.
That's the deck that really resonates with me.
Yes.
And I pulled the Inner Earth card. And what I usually do is I take it, I lay it down for a bit, and then later come back to it and write it all down, what it does to me. I did that today, and the card actually opened, the gateway that's in the card, Inner Earth, actually opened to me and pulled me in.
Yeah.
And it really pulled me in, and I got into a meditative state, and I went into Inner Earth.
Yes. Yeah.
And I could feel there were loads of dragons there asleep, waiting to be awakened.
Yes. Yeah.
But also a bit hesitant, as in I met one that I woke up, which was like, what are you doing here? Really like a bit like, do I want you here? Am I going to attack, or am I going to love you?
Right.
What am I going to do with you?
Right.
But it was really, oh man, I'm getting really warm talking about it, especially as you were talking about Inner Earth as well.
Yeah.
But it was gorgeous.
That was, so my experience was, I mean, very colorful. And I was told that not everybody is allowed to see Inner Earth because it's so beautiful that people don't want to leave. And that was my feeling when I saw all of these amethyst walls of crystals. I actually channeled that as well. There was waterfalls, there were portals with lights coming in, there were dragons flying around. I always tell people the dragons that I work with don't ever harm. They are heart-centered. And I've met people that go out fighting the dragons, and they're not mine. So, everything's very heart-centered.
That's not my experience either. The dragons I've met, my personal dragons, the dragons I'm meeting, they're all very loving. It was just that this dragon awoke from a slumber, and she didn't know what to do, because I don't think she was expecting to wake up at that point.
Right.
So she was unsure, but my golden dragon was with me, and I just invited her that if she wanted to come out of her cave, that she was very welcome, and she was very welcome to come and have fun with us, because I was bringing the vibration of joy with me. I tried to channel that as much as possible, because I'm also following a course about channeling, but I'm, like I said, really still learning.
Right.
So I have loads of questions for you about that.
Right. And I will tell you, my channeling literally, it went from that I would literally do, or I called it automatic writing, but it was somebody who had been watching me when she said to me, "You're channeling ascended masters." And I actually said that, "Oh, I'm a channel." It completely shifted. And it was literally given to me as a gift. And one of the things that I've said this many times, that so for many years, I've always grounded myself deeply in the morning. I mean, not just, I'm grounding, deep down, wrap my roots around, I'm a Pisces, so I could be flying around out there. So I know I have to ground myself. But what they said, that because I was doing that on a regular basis, I can access much higher frequencies much quicker. And like Kevin said, it's like using a muscle, that the more you do it, the more and the easier it is. And I sort of feel like I get a nudge. I don't even have to ask. Usually they give me a nudge that they've got a message, and then it comes out whatever way.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm seriously not there yet, but I'm
But it usually goes fast. I mean, I haven't, most people, once you encounter dragons, it's literally like January to, now as just gone by.
It's gone. It's gone. And I've grown so much and everything happens so quickly.
Yes.
And it's still accelerating to me. It's still accelerating. I love it though.
Yeah.
But it is a train. You're either on it or you're just left behind.
And I think as well, what happens is that for a long time we move really fast, and then when it stops, I mean, I had a couple of weeks where they just shut down and said, you need to rest and you need to stop, because I was like, go, 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 and I felt lost. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Because we always doubt ourselves, right? But once I took that advice, took some time. When it came back even stronger and faster. So always listen to yourself, because the dragons will make you.
I've learned that already the hard way. So been there, done that. Not sure if I should say unfortunately or luckily.
Yeah,
it's a bit of both. But I'm with the channeling. I'm still finding which form works for me. For instance, you say the automatic writing is a form that works really well for you.
Yes.
So far, I haven't had much luck with that. For me, drawing cards is easy peasy.
Right.
But also in meditation, I connect really easy, whether it's to my guides or ascended masters or my dragons. That actually, it just happens. I'm still not sure how I can. Control is not the right word, but influence it or steer it a bit. I'm still looking for that. But also you say you can just ask your dragons a question and they answer, as in you hear them, I'm assuming?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, not always. Sometimes their responses, wait and find out. But I always tell people, if they don't know, ask your dragon. Like, they're asking me a question about their dragon, and I'm like, ask the dragon. He will give you the answer. Some people hear it. Sometimes it will come. You can ask. It's rather like if you've worked with archangels or any of the high frequency, you can often ask, like, give me a sign, give me, whatever. And I'm trying to remember now, because again, things happen. So, I know what happened. So until Dragon Thunder, I'd not really seen I was aware of my dragons, but I'd never seen a full-bodied dragon.
Okay.
I'm going to say the next step, a couple of days, I have a fairly small dog, and I took him out. I live in a condo, so we have grass out the back. And I went out, and I was aware of these two huge dragons that sort of like jumped up when I went out. And they told me they were my guardian dragons. And they were sort of this brownish shimmering, but they were huge. And then they were like leaning over me saying, why have you got that dragon tied up? And I was like, no, that's not a dragon. That's my dog. And they were like, no, you're restraining a dragon. And I was like, no, this is not a dragon. And they said, yes, it is. He's a small dragon. And they were worried because they thought I had him restrained. So I now have a small dragon who's my dog. So, they may just be playing with me, right? But, because they do like to play with you as well.
Yeah, they do like to have fun, though.
But they were very concerned that I was restraining my dragon.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love these stories.
Yeah.
I've one other question, whether it's for you or anyone else in the group. I've personally also healed dragons, whether it was my own or someone else's. Does anyone of you ever does that, or know what? Not every dragon is waiting for it, but some really loved it. And for me, it just, when I meet a dragon and I just automatically know if something's wrong or not, or if they're healthy or not. And it doesn't matter if they're really big, really small, really powerful, or is something in between. I just make them sit down and take their medicine, as in I do a healing on them.
Right.
Which I love doing, but I've never heard anybody else about it.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother group of people, I think. But I do know that, again, Caroline Mitchell, because if you spend all day with her classes are like 8 hours, you learn like bits in between. And I had explained that so another thing that I encountered was getting some series of numbers, like a sequence of numbers, which kept repeating in my head, and I was writing them down, but I didn't know what they meant. And I applied like an easy alphabet, like A's 1, and I got a sort of a name. And the minute I said that name, it was a dragon that was still in hiding. It was off planet. He was on a planet, but he was still hiding in the caves. So I was explaining that to her, and she said, "Oh, there are dragons all over the planets and Earth that left Atlantis, and some of them are imprisoned, some of them are still in hiding." And she had said, "You have to be like gentle if you find them." Right now, I've been told to leave them where they are, but they're aware that I'm around. So yes, there's a lot of people that do go and find lost dragons and heal them.
Cool.
Oh, somebody said they're a healer and use dragons to help. Oh, that's Elizabeth. Oh, that's cool. So yes, you've got people here that do that.
Nice. I'm so gonna connect to everybody. If anybody here has social media, Facebook, Instagram, please leave your handle in the comments, because I would love to connect to you.
Yeah. Yes, I'll put my website here as well. So I know we had
dragon babies. I've gotten eggs from dragons. Not sure what to do with them or where they are right now, but I've gotten eggs. Does anybody else have something like that? Like I say, I have things just happen. I have no clue. I'm on a journey and the dragons just take me somewhere. So I have loads of questions, usually, which do not always get answered because I don't always need to know the answer already. I also know that. But
hi, interrupt for 1 second. Can you hear me? So sorry to interrupt you, but I
no worries.
Say hi. My name is Toma. Been listening in. What an exciting talk! Just makes my heart leap for joy. Really, I could talk about dragons day and night, 24/7. I wanted to address your question regarding dragon eggs. So recently I had this, I don't know what to call it, like an astral travel experience, whatever, where I had been given a dragon egg, or really a dragon embryo, and I would just kind of felt the pull to go to this place somewhere in ether. And while I was sort of holding the dragon embryo close to me, there was like a really angry dragon that kind of came at me. I've never experienced an angry dragon before. So come to find out that this dragon was chained. So once I removed the chains, she had been a mother of a clutch of dragon eggs. Then all was well, and she's the guardian of the dragon eggs. And she had told me that there were going to be some people coming up to me in the future who she will gift the dragon eggs to. So either they will just be given them if they can receive it, or I can take them up to the cave and they can choose one. So yeah, and sometimes people get dragon fosterlings. I currently have one. That's the same dragon embryo. So it's just really weird ones. Sorry. Kind of really weird stories.
Sounds amazing.
Kind of does, yeah.
Weird is my new normal since November. So it sounds amazing.
Find me on Facebook, Toma Joy Medium.
I would love to.
And I mean, that's, I think, what you'll find with this. If you listen to all the recordings and the Dragon Thunder, you know, everybody had different stories, but I think there's generally a thread, and it's probably not everybody, but it seems that a lot of people started with Reiki or found Reiki. Like Reiki seems to be a foundational piece somewhere, whether it was 30 years ago or last week. And the dragon, I think they're attracted to that energy, or it's easier for people that practice Reiki. I don't know, but there's a thread there. And then you meet people that tell the same stories or have the same experience, and it's like, wow. And look, nobody was talking about this a year ago, right? That's what I find amazing. Like, we hadn't all got together to find all these people. So everyone's been like, I've known about dragons for, years, but I didn't know who to talk to about them. But also, after a while, I think you just attract people that know or understand dragons. And I've certainly had more people say, oh, yeah, I actually encountered a dragon, a while ago, or I've always had a dragon with me, never thought anything of it. So they've definitely been doing that for a long time.
I am loving tonight. Thank you all, guys.
You're welcome. And I think that message, I saw a couple of people say, it was meant to be, if you felt it was personally for you, that's what the idea was, that it wasn't about, because they were very clear that I had to share it today before I could share it with other people. So if it hit you, it was personally for you.
Thank you, Barbara. I really did feel like it was an invitation to go explore there. I had several months ago, I felt like I wanted to fly around with one of my dragons, like one does when one is bored. Sort of what shenanigans can we get into tonight, sort of thing. And I just felt like Mount Shasta was calling me, though I've never been, though I am planning a trip next month. And I just sort of felt pulled in, and I just started going into a cave, from a cave to a cave, and it was like a heart chakra activated. You had to like project the right intention towards it, and then another cave would open up, and then finally me and my dragon sort of started descending down into the Agartha, and I'm like, what is this? Is this like a fantasy story come alive? It was amazing. And ever since then, whenever I try to go into Mount Shasta, willingly, I get lost in the caves. So whenever I try not to go into, I just like, oh, I'll go and explore, but not really try anything. I haven't been able to make it back there to the same place twice. So I do feel like this was an invitation. Okay.
Yes, yeah. And then my friend, Dr. Lisa Thompson, who has just published this Wisdom of the Galactic Oracle deck, which is, people can't say, I will put the information in. I took her, she did 12 classes on Meet the Galactics. And that's how, and actually before, on a lot of the journeys, I waited till they took me before, when we were going to Inner Earth or the Agarthians. Like, my dragons already picked me up and we were on the way, and they took me in through a portal, and we went spiral down, which was the first time I'd ever experienced that, and like shot out into Inner Earth. But yes, I'm also feel very connected with the Agarthan, which is, the people that live in Inner Earth as well. So there's always that connection between, the galactics and even though it's Inner Earth, they're considered galactics because they've lived there forever. I'm sure somebody else has got something to share about their experience with dragons.
I do. I was trying to figure out how to raise my hand. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You've mentioned a couple of times. You mentioned a couple of times about Inner Earth and the Galactics, and I had a couple of experiences. One with going deep into Inner Earth and finding myself with the dragons, and then finding myself way out in the galaxy somewhere. Like, it was both Inner Earth and way out there. And then I had another experience with a different type of dragon where I went flying. He was just sort of like cruising through the stars and then sort of heard me or became aware of me and then came down and connected, and then we went flying and went off flying to this far distant planet and had a whole experience there. And it was in a guided meditation, and when the facilitator said, now come back to me, I found myself in my heart, and my heart was a cave, and it was actually the same as the planet that we had just been on, and it was deep within the earth. So in that experience, it was that went out to the galaxy and found myself back in the center of the earth. And the other one, it was going into the center of the earth, the deep earth, and finding myself out in the galaxy. So it was sort of like a toroid. And then I was showed that the whole toroid structure of like, oh, you go out and then you find yourself right back in the center.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I said when I saw all these dragons coming at me, and they were like, where have you been? They then explained to me that they were galactic dragons and they went out from there. And there's as somebody said, there's a lot of dragons there, but our particular dragons might be there. They might not, but certainly mine were. And they explained that to me, that they go in and then they go out, and they also planet hop. They move really fast as well, so they can like jump from planet or galaxy to galaxy, warp speed. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
I'll share. I really did appreciate the message you gave us, Barbara, from the elders.
Yes.
I have had and been acquainted with a purple violet dragon for many, many, many years. I think it's been imparting me wisdom and protection. I did end up having it tattooed on my backside where the heart chakra is. So, and she's all around me. I've got purple dragons and purple dragonflies everywhere. And I really did hear a clear message, that linkage is there. And I just need to, instead of just acknowledging it with the trinkets, actually get there and visit and spend some time.
Yes. Yes.
And admit it,
Yeah.
I have had answers in my head all my life about little different things. Especially that, I want to develop my nature and my herbal stuff and my healing. And I've always been that way. And I have these answers. I'll be out in a rural area and I'll say, what is that? That's got a healing nature. And I'll look at it and an answer will come. And I don't know a whole lot, never had any experience with this. And I'll go do my research. And lo and behold, there it is. And it's something, that's healing. So I've had these experiences, and not just with that kind of stuff, but with, like what's going on in my life? Why is all this happening? Stuff. I need to develop that. I just sometimes feel crazy and I don't have anybody that I can really share it with that, without sounding like I'm, out there in the wind.
Right.
So I appreciate the message. And
Good.
This is probably, my first time getting real with it publicly.
Good. Good. It only goes up from there. It never goes down. So
yeah, I know. I got that experience and already do it.
Right. I know.
I don't know her name, but it's probably her telling me to just get it over with and do it.
Right.
So I appreciate this. Right. I really do.
And then once you've gone there, it'll be much easier to go back.
Yes.
Once you've gone that journey. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And you said, about asking the question. I remember once, this was my sort of famous story of, I got a message and I didn't know who it was. And I was asking while I was writing. And it was, a pretty personal message about, I walk with you each day and all of this sort of stuff. And I'm like, well, who is this? And she signed off as Gwendolyn. And actually, spelt the Welsh way, Gwendolyn. And when I said, Gwendolyn, who's Gwendolyn? And she said, I'm Merlin's wife. And I was like, Merlin's got a wife. Thank goodness for Google is all I can say, because I Googled it. And when I share that, sometimes people say, Merlin's got a wife. I'm like, yep. And she doesn't, she's there. She tells me she walks with me every day, that she's on the same path as me. She holds my hand, but she doesn't speak to me that often because Merlin does. But, you know, there's those things that we learn from asking that often there isn't even an answer to that. But when it is, it like blows you away, because, or if I used to get a name and I looked it up and it was exactly spelt that way and they would tell me who they were, I was like, wow. The same as when I was given the Ascended Master, Master Hilarion. I mean, he's an Ascended Master, but I've never worked with him. Obviously, I need to get to know him. But that's what the fun part of it is, I think, is, you know, finding these things and then finding out there's a whole story there.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. I wanted to thank you for the message, because it really rang through.
Good. Well, I'm glad it spoke to you.
Thank you.
So I think this is what we were hoping for, right, Kevin? That people were going to like be able to speak and ask questions and not feel like you're the only one that's sitting there with dragons.
Exactly. Well, that's what the dragons wanted. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They wanted us all. They wanted us all to start connecting and sharing and asking questions, and everyone's got a snippet of wisdom that helps someone else, and we're all at different levels, and it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what they want. They want us.
Right.
Experts out there. There's newbies.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. You all start somewhere, don't you? Every expert was once a novice.
Right. Exactly.
I still consider myself a complete novice, and I'm just loving.
Oh no!
Oh, did Kevin freeze?
I was wondering, did he freeze or did my screen freeze? Because
No,
it's been freezing in and out all the time.
Oh, is that? No, I think he did.
Oh, come back again.
Oh, you're back. You froze for a moment.
I froze. Yeah, my internet says unstable. I was obviously telling something that it didn't want the world you to know.
Right.
I was just saying it's great that everyone shares so openly.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was like that. Remember when we had that pre-meeting and that dragon came in and we all saw it? That blew us all away, right? So we were meeting prior to Dragon Thunder, those of us that were doing presentation. And while Kevin was speaking, this sort of was like a mist came in, and then it sort of half covered you, and it was a dragon that sort of materialized in front of us, which was like, and every single one of us saw it because we're like, are you seeing the same as I am?
Yeah, they do like to appear, don't they? I see them everywhere now. Every time I go outside, they're in the clouds, like you say, and they're in the mountains and in the hills, and they are everywhere. Yeah,
right.
I've done wonderful plant medicine things where it takes the human glasses off, and they are, and not just them. Many beings are wandering around us. We see less than 1% of the spectrum. We smell less than 1% of what you can smell. We hear less than 1% of what you can hear. We're wandering around fully blinkered, and they see everything. Even our cats see more than we do, and our dogs.
Yeah. Yes, I think you're right. And that's certainly for me now that I've seen my guardian dragons, I'm seeing there's a dragon behind the tree that likes to stand up and thinks he's scaring me. But you're right. You're much more in tune to those smaller things as well, the smaller things that are around and in the clouds, because the clouds love to show us different things. I see sometimes dolphins and whales and, sometimes angels, but it's usually something else up there.
Yeah, it's their way of communicating with us, and lots of people get. One of the things the dragon said to me is a lot of people getting hung up on seeing we don't all see. Some of us might even just smell something. It smells dragony. Some of us will hear. Some of us won't hear anything, but we'll have a knowing or a sensation. And they said, don't get tied up on that. You have to see. Everyone's got different levels of communication, and maybe some of us only get to see through the cards, or some of us, or maybe you're watching a film and a message pops out, and they said all they said was be open to the messages coming in multiple different ways. Sometimes the angels talk to us through numbers, don't they? I don't think the dragons talk to us through numbers, but maybe they do. And see what comes through. And I always say journal it. Just make sure you've got a journal. I've got a lovely one that's a dragon journal, and write it down. And sometimes there's a pattern that comes over 10 weeks, and you look at it and you go, oh yeah, there's a message there. And maybe it's a dream. You have a weird, people keep sending me messages saying, oh, I've had this dream about a dragon, this is this and this and that. It's like, great, it was your dream. I can only say to you, journal it, go on a journey with your dragon. I'm not a dream interpreter. But the only person that can really interpret your dreams, and if it's from a dragon, is you and the dragon. And just write it down. And the more you write it down, you start to get to a point where you see a pattern. I always see a pattern, and it's never from 3 dreams. It's always 10, 15 dreams. And there's like you can see a line through the middle. That's the message. And you feel it.
Yeah.
Kevin, would you also advise, for instance, if we're in a room like this, which is a safe space where we can all talk about our experiences, that if someone is a bit stumped on what they're getting through, in whichever way they get it, that they possibly share it? So we might, with all our collective interest, knowledge, things we get through, help each other out?
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's a big puzzle where we've all got a piece of it, and maybe somebody says, well, I dreamt about this the other day, and then somebody says, I was dreaming about going to the lower realms as well. Then suddenly you start to realize that actually there's something there, because like Barbara, when you started saying I ground myself solidly and I wrap I do that as well every morning. I imagine that there's these huge roots that come out of my feet, out of my spine, and it goes into the earth and it wraps around the core, and I'm like fully grounded. Again, as a Pisces, I'm like,
you're a fellow Pisces as well, so I think we're very aware that if we don't, we'll float off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's part when we were doing the summit.
In a room full of
my
Pisces,
energy,
then.
Sorry?
Are you a Pisces as well?
Am I in a room full of Pisces then? Because I'm not a Pisces.
I know. Alan,
don't think it's a room. I think
all
it's
right,
just
hands up if you're a Pisces.
A few, not a whole room.
No, but it's for people with cameras on. It's a majority.
It's strong. I meet a lot of Pisces. Yeah, we're at the end of the spectrum. You see, that's why. So we're a bit of everything.
Yeah.
If we're on this subject anyway, I do have a follow-up question. How many of us are born in the year of the dragon?
All right. Yeah. I have met a few people, but I don't think there's many people here.
I was born in the year of the dragon and in the hour of the dragon.
Alison says she's a Pisces as well. Sagittarius. Tina's not a Pisces. Jackie's a Pisces moon. Yeah.
Right, Tiger.
We'll be a mishmash of humanity. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's good. Then we all have different experiences.
Exactly. Yeah, and I like that what you say is if someone's had a weird dream and are not sure, then share it, because maybe someone's got an insight. Maybe someone's being given the key to that unlocks it. Maybe somebody says a key word and say, "What have you looked at it this way?" And they go, "Oh yeah, it's obvious now." Because sometimes the message is so close that we don't see it ourselves, and everyone else is like standing back going, "It's obvious, it's this," and then you're like, "Oh yeah." So yeah. That's what this forum's about. I mean, we're going to have speakers that are going to share. The whole idea is that, unfortunately, in the summit, we can't do that because there's just too many people and the rest of it. So we're doing it in this format. And it looks like it works.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say about that. And I told you this last year, even though I offered to help. Like, I am not good technically, but if anybody else wants to help with doing those recordings with Kevin. I'll be lucky if I can record my my Dragon Hour. But I'm sure you'll get people offering to help you, because that was huge what you did last year to do. How many did you do? How many pre-recordings did you do, Kevin?
There was 19.
19, yeah. And there's a good chance there'll be a whole lot more, right?
Yeah, we're sure out. I mean, last year there was like, who's that guy called Kev with the beard, and does he call himself the English Mystic? I got lots of like, who are you? Why are you asking me about dragons? And then it sort of got to 4 or 5 people that I'd heard of that I asked to come along, and then suddenly the dragons. I was like to the dragons, "Oh, you need to help." And they're like, "Yeah, of course we can help." And suddenly, like, suddenly there was a flood of people. I was like, "Okay, fair enough." Yeah. They're like, "You just start it. We'll sort it out. We'll flick people and wake people up." This time, I say there's about 50 people have contacted me, so I've got this lovely list. Yeah. I'm gonna write to, and then it'll be first. The dragon said, "First come, first serve." We'll work out who should be live and who should be on pre-record, and
yeah.
Don't do the human bit of picking your favourites. It's like, okay,
yeah.
It's easier for me then, isn't it? It's just like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24 done. There you go.
And also, people can record themselves, right? You offered.
Yeah.
You had a couple of people who did that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be with a host, because at the end of the day, the host is just basically doing the recording. If someone's got the technology to record it and send it, they then send it over. We're happy to have as many people in there as possible, so that we've got the widest idea of dragons. Because what's going to happen is you get. I mean, the dragon said last time get 1,000 people. We got to nearly 1,300 now, and there's still people coming in that are looking and just looking at the recordings. This time they told me 5,000. I was like, you what? They're like, don't worry, we'll send them. I was like, okay. So we'll see. So if there's 5,000, I'll have to try and find some platform. I've written to Tony Robbins, because somebody told me he's a dragon. Who told me he was a dragon?
Oh,
Mystic Merlin.
Mystic Merlin.
Yeah, so I've written to Tony Robbins, and I've gone through the first sort of his people like filter stuff out, and I've got a message saying, yeah, we've sent it to him. So we'll see. Right. That would be amazing. Use his platform. Get him to me. He's a dragon.
Responds being a dragon.
Imagine Tony Robbins saying, "Yeah, I'm a dragon."
I'm a dragon.
His voice, you know, I'm a dragon. Can you not tell by my voice? Sorry, Tony. Cool. Anyone else want to say anything? Does everyone want to suddenly come on camera for like 2 seconds and go? Obviously not. I tried. It was good to see lots of beautiful faces, and it was good to see lots of beautiful names here. Anything from you, Barbara? You want any final messages?
No, I'm just. I think it's funny when when we do this stuff and we say, "Oh, I'm just going to talk for like 5 minutes," and what comes out of that. I always find that amazing. But no, it's great, and I'm glad that we're doing this, because I do think it's going to help keeping the energy flowing and more people coming forward. And I should also say that Kevin is actually going to be my guest in October on Dragon Day on October the 8th. So it's a Sunday. I know that was other people were saying, "Oh, get Kevin to come and talk on a Sunday," and it just happens to be Dragon Day. So you've got the big, you're the star of the show. And if anybody else, and if you feel that you would like to come to my Dragon Hour, just go on my website and I get a message sent to me. This Thursday is Dr. Lisa Thompson, and I'll send you a Zoom link. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing other people's, like we've done here, hearing other people's experience and, sharing that. So.
Beautiful. What's Zara got in her hands? It's like a crystal skull.
It's a dragon.
Beautiful.
Just
wow.
Thought I would share him.
He's gorgeous. Mm. So you can feel the power of those, can't you? Thank
It
you
is
for sharing.
absolutely stunning.
Mm. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to say anything before we close? No? Perfect. Well, it was beautiful to see you all. Thank you for sharing all of your gorgeous knowledge. And as I say, do keep sending all those questions in so that we can get the experts to answer them. But as we know, the real experts are the dragons. So go and ask them however you want to do that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Pleasure seeing you all. And see you all online and see you in a month's time.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.